we have returned to Lavender Shadows.
Ooh.
All right.
Spooky colors.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, I guess it's just up to you guys. Marguerite, do you have a thing you want to do right now, or do you want to go? Yeah.
I'd probably want to be like asking around to people to see if they knew who it was who fell.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think it only takes a little bit before you get the answer, right? It's Lord Maxence Bechard, the guy who owns the place.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know if I really know him at all, or if
You probably
I just
never
know
spoken
that he
to him,
owns
but
the place.
You probably know he owns the place.
But what a great opportunity to pretend like I did know him. And maybe gain some contacts. I think I'm going to go see who's overlooking at him if they look important.
Yeah. Who you're trying to find someone who what?
People, if there's people like around him who look important, I'm going to try and head that way.
Around like where he
the
was
body.
Taken? Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So his body got taken to like the office. So like Mr. Bertrand Crozier's office. So you could have seen that and like followed them out and like.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you could probably like talk to Mr. Bertrand Crozier, right? He's the rich middle class guy who also owns. He's now the only proprietor of the Harmony Opera House. Yeah. So kind of stout guy. And you go up to him and say something.
Yes. I go up to Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
Because I want to try and seduce him in order to find out information.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm trying to...
This could go horribly wrong. So, please tell me your intent here. Actually, first tell me what you say. What do you actually say?
Okay. Is he just like standing outside the office like when I go up there?
Yeah, so I think he's just finished telling some servants to like go evacuate everybody.
Okay, I
He looked
want
kinda distraught.
So I think I would still kind of like look a little pale from fainting because I swooned
For sure.
earlier, and maybe I'd be able to like get a couple like tears or something.
I don't know. That sounds like an acting role to me.
I don't know. Should I do that right now?
Yeah, because this will be a link test to your future seduction test.
Okay.
So that's funny. You did a seduction link test for your acting, and now you're doing an acting link test for your seduction.
Yes, I would like to link and fork everything.
All right, let's take a look and see.
I'm sorry, who are you seducing right now?
My uncle.
Oh, great. Okay, that's what I thought. But, Woody Harrelson, awesome.
Everyone and anyone.
Everybody imagine Johan Johansson. That's it. Scarlett Johansson seducing Woody Harrelson. Oh, boy.
That's a thing.
Yep. Okay, so you're making an acting test, and let's see. I mean, you're probably forking in falsehood here, right? Like you're lying.
Falsehood.
You're not entirely truthful about the way you feel about this guy.
Yeah, falsehood, and then would like conspicuous help me to be able to like be.
Yeah, you're drawing attention to your sadness. Yeah.
Yes. My emotions. So it would be a 2 modifier for this.
Yeah, I think so.
Baking's not going to help me with this.
Yeah, you have a cookie in your pocket.
Okay, so what's the base obstacle?
I think the base op is going to be 2.
2. Okay. Ooh, I have a chance. Here we go.
Oh!
Okay, well you got 2.
It
Doesn't give you any bonus die, but you certainly are.
But I don't.
Weepy-eyed. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, I get the weepy-eyedness.
Yeah, doesn't give you an extra die though.
Okay.
You can mark another routine for your acting.
That gives me 2 routine.
You just need a difficult or a challenging.
Ooh, okay. I need to do more acting then.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to go up to Sir Bertrand.
He's not a knight. It's Mr. Bertrand Crozier.
I would like to call him Sir Bertrand, though.
Okay, yeah.
Would that be flattering to someone?
It might be.
Oop, dang it.
Yeah,
I feel like I would know if that would be flattering or not to someone.
I feel like it's a test to know. Or to even
Would
establish.
that be like a noble wise test?
I don't know if it would be a noble wise test so much as like a commoner wise test, right? Like I don't know. It would be something because you'd be trying to determine whether or not saying sir to a non-noble would be flattering or not. I feel like you could make a noble wise test, I think, maybe, to know at least whether or not it's like a bad form to call someone that.
Okay.
I think let's say obtu, noble wise.
Okay. I don't think there's any sort of modifiers that I
No,
would be
I don't
able to
think
do.
so.
Unless somebody gossips about whether commoners like it
No.
or not. Okay.
Don't think so.
Okay. Obtu.
Nope.
Nope. I have
This
no
is 0.
idea.
All right, you can mark that difficult test though. Look at Margeurite advancing everything.
I'm just doing all the things.
Yeah, so you do not know if it would be good or bad for you to call him sir.
Okay, so then I would like to go up like kind of teary-eyed and still pale and just go, Sir Bertrand, Mr. Bertrand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he kind of like frowns at you. I'm no noble.
I'm sorry. My mind's not in the right place right now.
Dear God.
Look, don't say things about my acting when I'm not saying anything about your accent, Seth.
I didn't say anything.
Dear God. Okay.
That was me. That wasn't him.
Oh,
I was like, what are you calling me out for?
I thought it was Seth. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Come on.
Okay. Man, I already feel like this isn't going to work based on his initial reaction.
I mean,
Ah,
you failed the noble wise test, so you set him off on the wrong foot,
know.
unfortunately.
I was just so upset on the stage. I saw it. I saw him fall. What happened to him? I'm so I'm like, I'm so scared. You seem like you know what's going on.
Okay. That doesn't
Emily
seem so
trying
much.
to flirt. We literally just discussed this today, Emily.
I don't know if that's a seduction yet.
No, it'd be like persuasion.
So what is your intent? What do you want him to do?
I'm wanting to know information if he knows anything that happened.
Right. Okay. So just give you information. Yeah,
Yes.
it is a persuasion test.
And I'd like to fork in acting. No, I can't fork in acting.
because that was the link test. Yeah. So.
Yes. I would like to fork in falsehood because I'm lying about that. And then conspicuous because I'm putting on this show. Yes?
No. I
Or
don't
no?
think so.
No. Okay. So persuasion, falsehood.
You can fork in seduction, though, I think.
I can fork in seduction.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so.
Got it.
Batter your
So-
eyelashes at him.
My teary eyelashes.
Okay, so it's gonna be the ob is his
Oh no.
will, which is a 5.
Joel, this is gonna
Of
fail.
5. Yep. Well, you can
I
mark a
didn't-
challenging test on your persuasion, though.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I think he frowns at you and he says, "Why are you wasting my time, woman? You work here, don't you? Go back." practice for the next performance. We have to keep going. We have to not
I thought
let his
everyone
memory
was...
live on. You're just in the way right now.
I just kind of like scoff at him and like walk back down, but definitely not back to like the practicing. I still want to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Yep. So we just see Marguerite and just be like, oh, well, go find someone else. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think we pick up with Viviane. You're in the box seat still. I mean, do you do anything while you're up there waiting, or?
I mean, I'm just trying to like watch and figure out what's going on, like trying to read as many lips as possible, and probably not doing very well. But
Right, yeah, yeah. I feel like there'd be a role for that, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of consequences for.
right.
For
I mean,
failing.
it's just like
It's just kind of like a thing
Yeah.
you're trying to do. Yeah. So you obviously you know that someone died. Yeah, that guy died, but or at least fell off the balcony, is like dying or got hurt or something. But yeah, I mean, you probably just kind of like standing there a little confused and a little just kind of out of it because you don't know exactly what's going on. And then Joe and Marco come up the stairs with Lord Kleber. And yeah, I mean, Marco, you see the bread and the wine laid out on the ledge before him. Luckily, he didn't like have the wine right next to the ledge in such a way that he knocked it over when he fell. But yeah, that's basically the main thing is his chair and then bread and wine.
So if I do can I fork into from perception?
No. So what?
Okay.
Well, first, just to tell me what you're trying to do. You're trying to.
I'm just kind of figured
CSI
like
it?
check out the bread, check out the wine, see if I can notice anything weird about it. Are there any servants around too?
Not up here. No, there's like some nobles that are still like gaining their composure. Like a lady is fanning herself and like, oh, why did this happen to me? Sort of a thing.
To
Right.
you.
So I want to kind of try and analyze the bread and wine, just kind of get an idea see if I can see anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know what the best way I could do that is.
Yeah, I don't either. Let's.
I mean, I have murder wise.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know if that's necessarily the skill here. So
I have murder wise and perception's better than murder wise though.
right, but perception is a stat and not a skill. So
I don't know these things.
it would depend. So let's see. I mean, I think there's a couple of avenues you could take. So I think it just depends on what you start with. Let's go do a piece at a time. So you could make a general murder wise to like investigate the crime scene, but like I don't know if that's gonna really give you exactly what you want. But you could also try a poison wise to like look at the wine. You could what's the thing you could do with you could make an observation test to attempt to like find anything that's like missing or hiding or something he left under his chair or that sort of thing. Yeah, there's a couple of different things you could try.
If I did poison wise, could I fork into murder wise?
No, because you don't have poison wise, so it would just
Okay,
be
so that's what
learned.
you're saying earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
What would poison wise be based off of?
Perception. All wises are based on perception.
My perception is 5. Would that then be the best option? Probably.
It might be. Yeah, it depends on how high the poison wise test would be. What was the test that I said? What was the ob for? Actually, I can just look.
It was 3.
It was a 3. Yeah, so it's going to be a base ob 3, I think.
And 5 is better than 2.
Yes, it is indeed.
So could I? What should I do then? Should I do that then?
I think so. Yeah, I mean that's probably the place to start, right? Check the wine, see if it's poisoned.
Do I have to add? I have to add poison wise, or should you add it?
Go ahead and click add on being learned.
Okay, poison wise, and it is
It's based on perception.
And then
you just click to roll it as normal.
Any modifiers?
I don't think so. No.
So I just cross my fingers.
Yeah.
And ob 3.
Yep.
Oh, additional complications?
Nope.
Okay. Now I hold my breath.
Nope.
Ow.
Yeah. And because it doubled, there wasn't really it.
Oh, why did it double?
Because it's being learned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
you can mark a bubble for poison wise though, right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you do the same thing, right? You taste it, you kind of spit it out a little bit, you just kind of slosh it around, look at it, but you don't know about poison. It's not really.
Well, if anything, it's probably just also it's been a while.
It's true. Yeah.
So
you're like, maybe I knew how to do this, but I don't really know anymore.
Like it's been too long. I'm out of I'm used. I haven't tasted this kind of food, this fancy food in a while.
Exactly. One thing you could certainly try, Marco, if you do want to find out if this is poisoned or not, is you could circles up a poisoner, right? Someone you know in the underground, right, as a criminal who is a poisoner, or.
My only problem with that is they wouldn't be here. I don't know if they would anyway. What I have? What I know
would make the test more difficult if they were here. You could certainly make a circles test and just happen to have a poisoner friend who's in the audience right now.
No, I meant in town.
But also in town, yeah. I mean, you have the circles, so you can.
I'm just wondering if I would know anybody in town.
It would be harder, but
yeah,
you could.
So I might try and try and find something to put this in. Yeah, I might try and hold on to this, but I'll.
Yeah, you maybe have a flask you can just pour out and then put this in it.
I'll turn to Josephine. I'll say, who brought this? Kind of.
He was already here, but
you
can't hear me. My mic's on.
Yeah.
Once you got closer to it, we could hear you.
It was already here when I got here. Maybe one of the servants brought it. I don't know.
Is that actually the case code? Just to make sure. Okay. Okay. I guess I'll look around like you said I could. I mean, might as well before I leave.
Yeah. So do you want to try to do observation or?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I don't have anything else I can really do.
Yeah. And observation is a skill you should probably learn anyway as an investigator. So.
Yeah. What's that based off of?
Perception.
I figured. Okay. And any modifiers?
I think what you can do actually here, go ahead and make a linked test with murder wise.
How do I do that?
So just roll murder wise. Do that first. And if you get the linked test, then I'll give you an advantage die. Because I don't think it makes sense to roll murder wise just to scope out the place, but you could certainly be like, did I witness a murder that was similar to this before? And
so would I have any modifiers for this?
You could fork in something if it made sense, but yeah.
And I can't fork in traits.
No, if you have, you can always give me an argument for a trait that would give you an advantage die. Like, I have this trait, I think I should get an advantage die. But most of the time, the answer would be no.
The only thing I can think of for forking in is sleight of hand, and the idea that if I know how to hide things, I could see if something was hidden.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Sure.
Maybe similar. I don't know if I could have a similar argument for inconspicuous.
No, I don't think so. One or the other, but yeah, not both.
And then streetwise, I don't think. But
nah, you're in the opera house right now. So.
Yeah, not very street-like.
So you can add 2 modifiers to your murder wise.
And is there any traits that I could argue for? I don't think so. No. The only thing I can think of, maybe I should have argued this earlier, is chronologue, knowing what time it was and knowing how long it would have taken for it to kick in. But I don't think it would have helped me much, if any.
That would have helped on the poison wise roll, probably.
But it probably wouldn't help too much. Yeah. I got 6 at 2 out of 6. Yeah. So, how many modifiers then for this
2.
roll? 2.
And then ob 2 on the murder wise.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't give you an extra advantage, but you kind of think about it, you're like, okay, interesting. Murder wise.
So then I roll observation.
Yeah, roll observation. No modifiers. And I think the ob is going to be 2.
Oh, I made it.
Nice. Okay, mark that bubble on observation.
Just one?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So let me look at my notes real quick. Okay, so you find a... You find the like pamphlet for the opera, like kind of under his chair. And I think, honestly, I feel like this observation test is looking at his body too, right? Like what you did when you looked at his body beforehand too, because I feel like you wouldn't have just... This is kind of just like you're looking at all the clues. I think the thing you think of is, okay, it does seem, if this was a murder, that the 3 ways this guy could be poisoned, if that's what it looks like. Again, not confirmed. But there is, a cup of wine, there's bread, and then you find in the fold of his jacket, in Maxence Bechard's jacket, there's like a pin on the inside of his jacket that is like kind of poking into his chest. Just like part of his clothing. It wouldn't look weird to you except for the fact that it's like poking in him.
So I'll turn. Wait. So, and I just kind of realized this as I'm looking around and thinking.
Yeah, and you like remember that when you looked at his clothing, you're like, wait a second.
And like I turned to Josie like, you said he grabbed his chest before he died, fell off. I think Alyssa's distracted.
I'm sorry. What? My husband's trying to talk to me. What?
So, you said he grabbed his chest before he fell over?
Yes.
Which side? Where?
I don't know that information. I don't.
You can make a perception test to try to remember.
Okay.
Why can't you just...
Yeah, just roll it base on 1. It's just graduated, which means how much information you remember.
So just roll a basic perception check.
Yeah, just roll a perception test and base on 1. How many successes you get is how much you remember.
Can you fork anything in for just
No,
stats?
not for stats, no.
Okay. Base up 1.
Someone else can help you with a stat, actually. So if you want to ask Viviane, hey, do you remember anything? And like, she can help you with her perception.
Yeah, okay. I'm like, you remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all you really have to do is, and if we were playing in person, is Carl, you would give a die to Joe, but in this case, you just add a modifier.
Okay. So it's a bit. So okay. So I do get a modifier +1 then.
Yep.
Okay. Modifier +1, and then what ob is it?
It's just put it at base ob 1, and it will be how much you remember is how many successes you get. It's a graduated test.
6.
Oh,
whoa,
nice.
a lot.
Dang.
I remember so much.
Okay, yeah. So you remember, you give him a vivid description of exactly what happened. And so yeah, Marco, I mean, it sounds to you like he might have like been pricked by the thing and then got poisoned through it. Like that seems like a logical option based on where he like grabbed his chest. It's also possible that he just put the pin into his chest when he smacked his chest.
Right. I figured since I'm actually doing like detective work, I should actually be writing notes.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I don't have a notebook, so I'm typing it.
Do I mark anything for perception, or are we good?
No, it's a routine test, so it doesn't count for anything.
Cool.
So I'll probably explain to her, like, he had a pin sticking into his chest where he grabbed himself. That may have been what got him. So I'll look around. I want to look around and see if I can...
implying that this wasn't a heart attack?
Doesn't look like it. Well, I mean, do I kind of get that, Caleb, then?
I mean, you haven't succeeded on any test that has actually told you that, so...
Well, the murder-wise test, I just did a little bit ago.
The murder-wise was to remember another, like, case you once did that, like, would help you in this situation, but, yeah.
Okay, so like...
You're still unsure. You still don't
know.
So,
like, I'm not sure. Could have been a heart attack. Could have been something else. I want to take the bread and the wine glass and try and find a servant. Try and find like a worker.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go back to my uncle. I'm gonna go back to Bertrand.
Okay.
See, I go back to him. Is he still like in his office then?
Yeah. I think you see him and he's just kind of like really like thinking about stuff. He's just like, oh man, this is bad.
And I say like, go up to him like, and look up, like show him the bread and the wine. Like, this your usual snack for an evening?
Not mine, no,
but it would have been for him.
Maxence, yes, of course. He was weirdly religious about this whole thing. Ever since we went in together on this opera, he almost felt like it was his divine calling, as it were.
So he always had bread and wine.
He always had bread and wine in a performance like this, especially the opening night of a new opera. Always.
Everybody knew this.
Most people did. Anyone who cared, at least.
Who was... how would I word this? Who was the one in charge of bringing this to him?
The bread and the wine, probably a servant.
Which one?
Any number of them.
Damn it, Caleb. I wanted to rough up a servant.
And you still can. You just got to find which one.
Rough up all of them.
I mean, I might.
Are you the murderer? Are you the murderer?
Do you really think it's poison?
I don't know.
Well, should we find someone who can know for sure if it is?
I might be able to. But if you know someone too, wouldn't be a bad idea.
I mean, yeah, let's have you guys put your collective circles together and try to find someone.
I was gonna ask, would herbalism help at all with that?
Viviane, you are the person who could just go up to the wine and know if it is poisoned or not.
Okay. I mean, I think the first thing I ask Joe, I'm like, what happened? Like, because I'm still very confused on like everything.
I mean, I think like as like he takes like the wine and bread, right? Like Joe's like starting to explain like we don't know what happened. Like he died, possibly a heart attack. Like we don't know. Maybe it might be a murder.
Okay. I mean, I guess she sees them like taking away the like wine and bread, and she's like, maybe I can help.
Yeah, whatever you want.
So did you follow us into the office then? Because that's where I'm
yeah.
So maybe like why is he
we're
saying
also
that?
your key witnesses right now too.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would just like let us go.
Like
And prime suspects.
Like right as he's saying we should find someone, they walk in.
Yeah.
So I just sign like Viviane thinks that she can help.
I can't understand sign language.
No, but I'm signing it
so
and
that I
saying
understand
it
what
saying
she's
it.
saying.
Oh yeah, I'm just like huh?
Yes.
It's like I'm deaf.
She's deaf, not dumb.
I'm sorry, because like she's like a kind of like a kid, isn't she?
I'm a young adult.
she's 20s. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like 16.
You're all
for some
around the
reason.
same age.
Okay, I was thinking she was like 16 for some reason.
No.
Okay. Okay. Like I've left the bread on the bread and wine on the table. So like, have at it.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You could, let's look at herbalism real quick. Because I know herbalism is like knowing what stuff can heal people. Right. Which could still be peripherally useful.
Kill people, probably, too.
Mm-hmm. If you know something really won't heal someone.
Okay. I mean, I've got a bunch of plant-related things. So
right, exactly.
I mean, in this day and age, it would have to be plant-based.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, I think... So, I guess, tell me what you're doing, Viviane.
I mean, probably smelling it first to see if there's anything that I can recognize.
Okay, yeah, I think...
I'm not just gonna, like, drink some like everyone else has been
Right.
doing.
Down it!
Okay, so I think let's have you make an herbalism test. And it's going to be an ob 3,
Okay.
but you can fork in some things,
Ooh.
obviously.
How does forking in stuff work? Does that just create a modifier?
Yeah, it's a modifier, but yeah, so
Okay.
we'll kind of figure out which ones might make sense.
I mean, would it make sense to fork in plant-wise?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, how many can I fork in?
As many make sense.
Oh, okay. I mean, probably plant-wise, flower-wise, and tree-wise.
Yeah, I
Hit
think
all the
there could be any of those, right?
Right.
Could be the culprit, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You could also fork in astrology if you want to tempt fate.
I
Ooh.
don't know if I want to do that.
So the way that works again is you can always like see if fate is in your favor and then add a die for astrology, but that die open ends both ways. So if it gets a 6, it automatically rerolls and gets more successes, hopefully.
Oh, okay.
But if it gets a 1, it automatically rerolls and you can take away successes. So yeah, it's a calculated risk if you want to tempt fate.
Might as well.
So don't fork that one in, but just roll it
Okay.
separately. So go ahead and
So I got 3 modifiers.
get 3 modifiers. Yep, and the ob is 3
Cool.
for your herbalism.
Yay!
Nice.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All right. Well, go ahead and make your roll your astrology die then. So roll a d6. Just do slash roll space 1d6.
Okay.
And if it gets a 1, then you have to re-roll it again. And okay, so
2.
you're good. So it didn't help, but it didn't hinder at least.
Cool. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. So I think you know exactly what killed it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm-
So it's a flower called wolfsbane.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, someone probably distilled it and put it in his wine. That's what it looks like.
Okay, yeah.
Actually,
so she signs to.
So I think you find it in the bread and the wine. I think they're both.
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. So she says to Joe, she's like, "There's."
Actually, no. Okay, well, let me back up because I want to make sure I'm right in this. Just the bread.
Okay.
Just the bread.
Okay.
That's why we couldn't find anything, because we
Yes.
weren't testing the
I
bread.
think
Ah.
I think that's what makes most sense.
Yeah. So she's like, bread. There's a wolfsbane flower.
Says that there's wolfsbane in the flower in the
In the
bread, so-
flour.
Yeah.
in the flower of the bread.
And is this a familiar enough poison that I would know what it is?
I don't know. I mean, you can roll poison wise
I mean,
to know.
I would know exactly what it does,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You,
So
Viviane
I mean,
can
I would tell
you
that to Joe.
I mean, can I roll on anyway to see how much I know about?
everything. Yeah, make roll a poison wise. I think.
Can I do the same for my poison wise?
Yeah.
Since I'm not,
Any modifiers or
Nope.
because we're
Okay.
learning.
Base
Base school 1, 2.
The ob I think is gonna be ob 2.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Oh,
Dang.
nice.
I have
Whoa.
not heard of it.
All right.
I can.
Which makes
I,
sense.
Yeah.
I can say what it is. I don't know what it is though.
And so
Yeah.
I mark another thing on poison wise.
Yeah, both of you mark a bubble on poison wise.
Because
How
I
many do I
see
have?
her sign wolfbane, and I'm like, wolfbane?
And as soon as you say that, Marco's like, yeah.
Looks like we do have a meta on all hands.
So normally wolfsbane.
Do I mark? Do I mark another thing on my poison
Yep.
wise?
Do I need to mark anything for the herbalism?
Good question. You have a 3 in it. Yeah, so mark a routine test for herbalism.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so you know that normally wolfsbane can cause like seizures and like frothing at the mouth and vomiting, but it seems like he's had a particularly strong and quick reaction to it.
Wait, it can cause seizures.
Vomiting and frothing at the mouth. You didn't see the last two, but it's possible that he just kind of like seized up. It seems like what's most likely is he had some sort of like extreme allergic reaction even beyond the normal like poison would. So it usually maybe doesn't act quite as fast as it would normally, but someone maybe even knew that he was like particularly susceptible to this, and he just like had a moment where he's like, take a bite of the bread, and then I'm just gone. So he's kind of strange.
But by that I also know that it was pretty shortly after he ate the bread that he would have died then. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, so your guess, because the thing is, Joe and Viviane remember him eating the bread at the beginning of the performance. But he also did continue to eat the bread throughout the thing. So it's possible that only a particular section of the bread was poisoned
or
somehow.
it's like there was some of it was like slipped in just a certain part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Someone might have like slipped a little like tube or something in, just like kind of like put it in the middle or something. Definitely possible. Yeah, so he had a very particular strong reaction to it, most likely instantaneously, and then stood up and died.
I wonder who of the player characters knows about bread.
And now we have it here. Every single person has an opportunity and a motive.
I am flowery.
It's true.
Wow.
Same, but in a different way.
What if it was gluten-free?
True.
Then he wouldn't have wanted it though. That's the case though. So I'll turn to my cousin. What the heck is his name? I'll turn to Bertrand's like, yeah, it's like, sounds like we do have a murder.
Well then, I expect that you bring whoever did this to justice, my friend.
So kind of be like, okay, like this isn't going horribly wrong. I can do this.
Yeah, and I think he looks at Joe and Viviane, and I think he kind of like, he thinks about this for a moment, and he's like, not to be disrespectful, ladies, but please don't make yourself scarce in this process.
Do whatever to help.
Good.
Would I know where Wolfsbane is like found locally?
Yeah, with the 5 in poison wise. I think it's local enough. Yeah, someone could probably find it in the countryside.
So it's common enough that it's not like it would have to be very skilled to even get this. Like anyone could find this if they wanted to.
If they looked hard enough, yeah.
So that doesn't narrow anything down.
Not necessarily, yeah. It's not like some sort of like really rare poison.
Okay.
Though again, his reaction to it is so. It does make sense that it would be Wolfsbane that would do him in, but he didn't react exactly the way one might expect.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll probably mention like whoever did this must have known him possibly better than you, because they knew he would react like that.
Yeah.
Does he respond to that at all?
Oh, you're saying it to Bertrand?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he nods and he says, he didn't have very many close friends. And he just kind of shrugs.
I'm gonna turn to it's gonna be awful, but it's one of his beliefs. He believes, how did I word it again? People are inherently not trustworthy. So I'm gonna turn to Josephine like,
yep,
you seem to know him.
We can't hear you.
Excuse me?
So you're just some sort of random Finnish guy who's just saying to this.
And who are you to make that kind of call here?
I think at that point I would say Detective Marco Tisby. Former Detective Marco Tisby. We still haven't determined why it's former, but
former. Well, I don't know. Do I have what kind of degree do I have?
I mean, you probably don't have a formal degree. They don't necessarily have those exactly,
for women yet.
Especially for women. Yeah.
Well, would I be detective or inspector?
I
think it'd be inspector, wouldn't it?
Yeah, let's say inspector.
So Inspector Marco Tisby.
Okay. Well, she's gonna say current scholar and interpreter.
Lady Josephine Belay.
Lady Josephine Belay. Thank you.
I think I can see I got under her skin, and I'm kind of pleased by that.
So I think young Lord Frederick Claver comes back from wherever he was during this whole thing.
Right, where'd he go?
I don't even know.
He just disappeared.
He just disappeared. I forgot about him.
Maybe he lost us in the confusion.
Yeah, he probably went to go talk to someone about what happened. But he comes back and he says, he kind of notices the tension in the air, and he says, and then kind of like looks at Viviane. I do have to say, I had a very pleasant evening, even all things considered. At least until that point, he's implying, right? Like, he basically wants to let you know, like, I don't want you to think I forgot about you.
But Joe is just not interpreting this well. She's just like, whatever.
So she's saying what he's saying, just with little enthusiasm.
Very little enthusiasm right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Then he says, I do hope that I can call upon you again. And he takes her hand, right?
Which is
he
not
takes my
okay.
hand.
I think I slap his hand. I'm like,
I'm trying to think of how she would reply to that, because like she's obviously not rude, but she's like, this dude made no effort to communicate with me when my interpreter was like not around. He was just like, okay, I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm gonna go.
Well, no, yeah. Again, maybe that's how you interpret it. That's not how he was thinking it, but it's fine.
Right. I mean, yeah, he literally like said something to her, knowing that she couldn't understand, and then left. So that's the way she's gonna interpret it.
Yeah.
Right after a murder.
But she's not gonna treat her. She's not gonna treat him like she's offended by that. But I just don't know how she'd respond. What was the last thing he said?
I hope that I can call upon you again.
I mean, she would probably just do the polite thing and say, like, yes, that would be fine. But, like, with little enthusiasm.
Yeah, the common rote response, yeah.
Yeah.
So Joe just says, she says that would be fine.
Okay. I think I want someone to make a roll here to, like... So what's your intent? Do you want him to not be offended by that? Or do you...
I want him to not be offended, but understand that I'm a little put off by him.
Okay, so understand that properly. Okay, so Viviane, I think I want you... You don't have the skill etiquette.
But I did.
It's not on your list. It might be. Yeah, you might.
I have it somehow.
You do. Yeah, I guess I forgot to put it in. Somehow.
I was gonna say she has to because she's a lady.
Okay, you forgot to open it. That's why.
Okay.
On the sheet here. So that does mean though that you have to have it one lower than you had here on the sheet. Because it costs one more point. So you have etiquette at 4. So I'll put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I think here that's required, like for.
Yeah, I was pretty certain that I had it.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm rolling etiquette.
Yes. Yeah, so you're gonna roll an etiquette test to say it in the proper manner, right?
Would soothing platitudes help with that?
Yes, you can fork in soothing platitudes.
Cool.
Let me
see if there's anything else.
I think it's gonna be an op 2.
Okay.
Oh no!
Oh no!
You had 5 dice. No. You had 5 dice.
I know. Oh my gosh!
All right, you can mark
That's
that
like
routine.
me rolling. Ew.
You can mark that routine on etiquette at least.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you say that, and like maybe part of it I'm sure is.
I accidentally did it on right instead.
Oh yeah, you can if you go to the left of the bubble, there's a little like X that appears.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, on etiquette. Yeah, so I think part of it probably has to do with the way Joe says it in the sign, right?
I figured.
or says it to him
The way
after
she
the
relays
sign.
it, yeah.
But yeah, it just he kind of like stiffens a little bit, and then says, "I'm sure that I will get in touch with your father." And then leaves.
Great.
Viviane, wait a second. Do one of you have this?
I'm trying to think how to sign the word like call upon.
I thought it was funny you did like the call sign.
Yeah, I mean, it would have. Yeah,
I know.
it wouldn't
Wait.
be that.
I was like, I know it's not that. Like, sorry.
It
was like,
yeah, it makes sense.
I think
but...
isn't this it, Carly?
Maybe
like the
I don't
call
know.
upon. I don't know.
I mean, maybe it would just be like, I'll talk with your father.
Yeah, I just feel like there's
okay. So never mind.
Sophisticated.
Neither of you have a skill that
is.
was coming in here. Okay, so that happens. And I guess like it's kind of like
I'm like,
sorry, what was that? Missed it.
translate for the listeners.
you don't need him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So is that where the conversation just kind of ends? Like, is Marco, because you guys had a little bit of a tense situation there, but were you going to continue questioning Marco, or just leave it at that and then come back to it at a later date?
It is. Okay, I was right. It is that. Whew.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So because she had mentioned that she knew him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she acted like it the whole time.
Yeah, like. So I think he's Mark was himself. I thought I was bad with people. It's like watching that because that was an extremely awkward situation.
Yeah.
So I'll turn like, so Miss Boulay, do you, as he's walking away, he's kind of like, did anyone have it in for him?
Oh no! Would I know that? Did I roll history?
You could it wouldn't be history. It would be
like
that's
gossip or
do you have like gossip wise or whatever?
No, I do not. I have city wise, myth wise.
I think the one thing that you like actually have that you could roll that would make sense here, well, you could make a circles test to know someone already that like hates him, right?
Okay. It wouldn't just be I wouldn't just know that from being in like our group.
Well, that would be the roll, right? Is if there is a person, right?
Okay, sure. I can do that.
Well, I don't know if you can. You have a circle of 1.
Oh. So I guess not then.
Well, I mean, you can still try it if you want to. It's up to you.
I mean, I don't think I will succeed. But...
It depends on how difficult it's going to be.
You'll at least get something to like click on.
Okay, I mean, well, it can't hurt anything, right? Necessarily.
So you're looking for someone who would probably have a similar life path to you. Let's see what life paths you have. Yeah, so probably like a student, someone who has a student life path. Same station rank or social class, but has a particular disposition. Yeah. Unfortunately, it is higher than 1. So I'll give you a chance to back out if you want to before I tell you the but technically...
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, no.
Yeah, so the rules go, if I do tell you the you have to roll. But
right.
Yeah, so it makes sense. There's
no...
Basically, what would end up happening
There's no
is either...
chance I could do this.
Exactly. What would end up happening is either you'd fail the roll, and either this person doesn't exist, or they do exist, but they hate you more than they hate him.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They were actually trying to poison me.
Right, yeah, like that might be the whole thing. But yeah. So
they know you love bread.
So, yeah. Again, you could make an unlearned or a being learned like gossip wise or court gossip wise or whatever, but that would be the only option, I think.
Gossip wise, even if I know it?
No, that's the rule, right? It's knowing that thing. Because I don't know if Joe pays enough attention to those sorts of things. Right?
I mean, she probably spends most of her time teaching Viviane.
And like reading.
And like,
right.
Yeah, being an introvert and stuff.
You don't pick up social cues.
What is that? Gosh,
did I
just create Ari again?
Yeah.
I kind of created Toity again, someone who's looking to redeem themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll do gossip. I'm just learning so many things. I'm trying to better myself.
And that's the thing; they're all wises too that you're rolling. So like, it's you're pretty good at them.
Okay, so that's perception.
Yeah, based on perception.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. The roll for that I think is gonna be to know if someone hated him. 2.
Okay, no modifiers or anything?
Nope.
Okay, so up 2. Nope.
Nope. Yeah, you don't know of anyone particularly.
Let's just say no.
You can mark a bubble though.
That bubble marking though.
Bubble mark. Just like
yeah.
No?
So yeah, you didn't know.
I mean, I knew him fairly well. We ran in the same educational circles, but I didn't know any enemies of his.
So I think Bertrand at that point says, Marco, I think it might be better to pick up this investigation tomorrow on a good night's rest. Let's let the ladies get back, and we'll figure this out tomorrow. You're muted.
You're muted.
Sounds good to me.
Again,
I think the Zoom has like a level you have to talk above for it to hear you.
Yeah, I might.
I think that's what happened when we lowered our mics last week.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
it has to do with. Because I've never had this issue with my mic until last week when we lowered it.
Okay.
I feel like it's happened occasionally with you before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had the issue, I know for sure.
Well, I really noticed it when I was re-listening to Terry Nolias's last week, and I was like,
gotcha.
"Oh my gosh, you guys didn't even hear what I said then."
But yeah, so I think he looks at you one more time, Marco, and then nods and says, thank you, nephew. I appreciate it.
I appreciate the chance. Where exactly am I staying?
And I think
cut the scene.
I mean, probably right, but I think the answer is like either. I mean, he's perfectly happy like paying for a room for you, but also you could just stay here. Like, there's places that you could stay. There are people who like literally live here, like who work here, so you could just have an empty room there.
He might actually take that up.
Yeah.
Just because
you'd be closer to everything.
That's happening, can kind of keep an eye on stuff. Yeah, he'd probably do that.
Yeah.
Plus we've established he doesn't like people spending money on him when he could be taking the money and giving it to his family.
True. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So he offers that, and I think we cut back to Margeurite and see what she's been up to during this investigation.
I would have gone to like the costuming department.
Yeah.
With all the girls that I actually like there.
Okay.
And
I mean, a circles test will decide that.
Wow. There's just to see if there's like anything that they know about anything.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple of things you could do here. You could either roll a gossip wise test, and that you just get general knowledge, or you could roll a circles test to like find a friend that knows stuff.
Ooh. Okay, how would I do this circles test? I don't have any circles or anything.
So circles is an attribute. So it's
okay. Whoop. There it is.
Up a bit, yeah.
Okay, I found it.
So it's a person who would have the same life path as you, so it would be a performer, likely, or a seamstress, actually, probably.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Same station. And it would literally just be, the only difference is they have helpful knowledge to you. So it's going to be an ob 2.
I can't like add anything with this, can I? Because it's an attribute test.
If you had a reputation or affiliation, you could add that here.
No, but I have neither of those.
You can also make an appropriate wise test, like a link test to give extra.
Could I link gossip wise then?
That seems to make sense.
Yeah, you can make a linked test with Gossip Wise to like. The issue though is with Gossip Wise, you only have a 2, and even if the ob was 1 on the Gossip Wise test, you wouldn't be able to get high enough to actually get an extra die because you have no fate. right?
Oh.
Because you have to get one over the ob. Or, right, I guess.
Well, what if I did? What if I? Wait. What if I tested Gossip Wise, and then forked into that test Persuasion?
Right, because you're like asking around.
Yeah.
Sure, I think that's fine.
So then it would be a
so
modifier.
What's your intent exactly?
I want to find out who died and what happened.
Right. So like just learn the details.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Ob 1.
Okay.
Them deets.
Ob 1 Gossip Wise with 1 modifier.
Yes, I did it.
Yep. So you can get 1 advantage die on this circles test, which means you have
Okay.
three dice going into an Ob 2.
Okay, here we go. Nope.
No. Okay. So what this means is you do find someone who knows, but they hate you. So a seamstress, a rival seamstress in the costuming department.
I'm not even good at sewing. Why would anybody be my rival?
So
Maybe they suck too. I don't know.
yeah. You can mark a routine for your Gossip Wise and a routine for your circles.
Okay.
But yeah, so this person's name is Emmeline Boudon. And Emmeline she's a blonde. She is kind of like gap tooth. She's not the
So
prettiest
she's
person to look
jealous
at.
of me.
She's probably jealous of your looks, honestly. Kind of has some pronounced front teeth, and there's a little bit of a gap between them. And
It's just because she's not pretty enough to be on stage.
exactly
So.
right. And so she's sewing up something. I think what happened is the prima donna like ripped her costume when she like fainted in the middle of the performance. And so she's like sewing that up, and she looks up at you and says, like, sees you coming, and then kind of like frowns a little bit, and then goes back to sewing.
Emmeline, did you hear what happened?
Yes. Did you?
I was there. I saw it.
Ah, interesting. What did you think?
It was awful sudden.
It really was. What do you want, Marguerite?
I'm just
You don't
down
ever-
here.
You don't ever come to me unless you want something.
Am I not allowed to be in a room where I work?
Are you done?
I also ripped my dress in the incident.
I mean, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Like, I gotta sew my dress too.
So you just like sit down awkwardly and just like start sewing.
Sew the dress that I currently am wearing.
Right.
Just like at the edge, like.
Yeah, rip the
okay.
sleeve slightly. Okay, yeah. So you're just gonna sit there awkwardly. So basically, the way this works is you can still attempt to get the information out of her, but you have to roll
Yes.
like some sort of test to like, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, you tell me like how you're attempting to
Let's see.
get the information out.
I will try and persuade her to tell me the information by saying that I'll fix up the prima donna's costume and she can go home early.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that sounds like a persuasion, right? Because it's in her best interest to like get some rest and not have to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you telling the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's persuasion. I'm not.
And
sure.
then can I fork in sewing?
I'll give you an
To be
advantage.
like-
I'll give you an advantage dice because you do know
Okay.
how to sew. Yeah. And
Yes. Yeah, that's really all I have.
Yeah. Her will is 3.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
So 3v3.
Come on. Guys, I'm just not even gonna know what happened to this guy.
No, oh no. Okay, well you can mark your difficult.
Failure.
Unfortunately, you don't need a difficult on persuasion.
I know.
Yeah.
Can that not just count as a routine?
No, it cannot. Yeah. So, oh, actually, it might. Let me actually double check because I know that if things are low enough. Gosh, Carly.
I did over what was necessary.
Normally it still only counts for the test that it counts for, but I know if it's low enough, there's still some leeway in that. Let me double check this. Because actually, let me, I guess, figure out what the actual like chart here is, because if it is a certain amount, okay, so you're rolling 3 dice against 3. No, that's difficult. Yeah, so if you were rolling 3 dice against op 2 or op 1, then it would be routine. Yeah. So, does not count for you. This is too difficult. So, I think she just kind of like sniffs at you and just says, "I'm not going to ruin the prima donna's dress just so you can get a piece of gossip."
Nobody wants to tell me anything.
I think people don't like you.
I know. That one was because of a circles rule. That one's completely just by the dice that nobody likes me.
Yeah.
I just keep sewing my sleeve.
And I think the thing is, I think eventually you obviously learn that what happened, but it's like far too late to like really do anything about it. Or like if you wanted to like get, I don't know what you would want to do about it, but it's like the next day basically you learn about this whole thing.
I mean, it's probably like in the news eventually.
Yeah, it's probably
like
I'm the last to know everything.
Yeah,
I heard it from the town crier.
Yeah, exactly. Lord Maxence Bechard fell dead from the balcony at exactly 9 p.m. on a Saturday. Yeah.
That's who that was, of course.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I mean, so that's the end of like the day there. I guess, is there a scene that anyone else wants to have? Like, because again, you have beliefs, you have things you want to accomplish. What does the next day look like for you guys? Does anyone have a thing they want to like go after particularly?
I mean, obviously she's probably seen it before, but I want to take Joe through my garden.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right? We open up the next day and like you guys
have
are a little
wolfsbane in your garden. You can
I mean, it's a pretty flower. Honestly, she might.
I think you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did it.
Well, that was my goal with this whole thing. Make it so that any one of you could have done it.
I think I'm the only one who wouldn't have, just because, like,
right, but someone else might think you did.
Yeah.
Maybe you planned this whole thing so you could get a job again. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yes.
I can see that happening, and like that's the whole reason I didn't want to go in, because I didn't want to be there when it happens. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I guess Viviane, like, how early is this in the day? Like, frame the scene for us.
I don't know, like 9 or 10 a.m., something like that.
We're noble. We sleep.
A reasonable time, yeah.
Not a Carly time.
Yeah.
We're just like walking through the garden, and every once in a while, Viviane will stop and like pick a pick a random flower or a couple of flowers from a bush or something, and she's just kind of collecting a bunch of flowers in her
Making
hand.
a bouquet or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And is Joe like with you at this point? Or
yeah, I mean, unless she like comes to the garden from doing something else.
Sure. I mean, like I could literally just be like reading a book as you're like picking flowers and like coming over
Right.
and like, you know, like reading as we're walking, we're strolling through the garden, and
Right.
I'm, you know, we're occasionally conversating as I'm like reading my book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so we know that you want to like show Joe, like get Joe to appreciate the garden, but how are you going to go about doing that?
Probably, I mean, she's just occasionally like pointing out different flowers and like naming them and kind of like being a nerd, but but like trying to get Joe to appreciate it because she knows that she's a nerd about other things. She's like, look, flowers are cool too.
So basically you want to roll a flower wise to like
Yes.
impress her with your knowledge of flowers and get her interested in
Yes.
a scholarly topic.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a thing you could do. Right, Joe?
Yeah, totally. I'm down.
Okay. Yeah. It sounds like
What
a
does she have to
flower
be,
wise
my
test
will?
for me.
Or-
I don't know. It depends on
Or is it
how
up to me?
So I'll read you some obs here. So I think it would depend on how interesting of facts would take.
I mean, if
to...
she's pointing out Wolfsbane, she's interested in that crap. She's like,
yeah,
this is what killed him yesterday.
I mean,
awesome.
eventually she probably gets to Wolfsbane and she was like, this is what I was talking about the other day.
yeah. So here let's go through this. Would tell me the max thing that you would like it would require to be interested to like actually succeed at like being like appreciating the garden, that sort of thing, right? Freaky details or specifics. I'm gonna go from the highest to lowest. Freaky details or specifics, bizarre or obscure, rare goods, uncommon knowledge, details, an interesting fact, or common knowledge of the subject.
I mean, because Joe probably doesn't know too much about flowers. So, I mean, honestly, she's always interested in learning about new subjects. So, I mean, definitely not common knowledge. That wouldn't interest her. But, like, probably small details, I think, would be fine.
Yeah, details, okay.
Details.
So, Ob 3, Viviane.
Okay, cool. Can I fork in plant-wise?
Yes.
Cool. That one's gonna be nice to have.
Yeah.
Just whenever I'm doing anything with plants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You said 3 for obstacle?
Yes, Ob 3. You
Okay.
could also fork in astrology if you want. You could have read some star charts early this morning. He's like, "Is this a good is this a good day to show Joe the garden? Are the fates aligned?"
Sure, I might as well.
Okay, so don't fork that in, but you can add
Yeah.
another die.
Oh gosh.
Oh, okay. Well, roll the astrology die. Wow, that was a really bad roll.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's very.
If you get a 6, it will
bad.
automatically keep re-rolling. So,
Do I not change the obstacle for that?
no. So just roll a d6.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Oh, well, I don't. You can't get any lower than 0, so it
Yeah.
would normally re-roll. Let's just see real quick. What would have happened if you rolled it again? Okay, so it wouldn't matter. Nothing would have happened because you would have rolled back, and then but a success wouldn't have been taken away. So you didn't get a -1 on successes. Yeah. So is Joe
I'm just really into my book today.
Yeah, she's just distracted.
Bro-
Probably not only about
I
Maxence
mean,
Bechard's death.
One of my
but,
good friends just
Yeah.
Right.
died.
So what do I need to mark for that?
mark a routine test on flower wise.
Okay.
I mean, she's probably just like sorry, like distracted.
Right.
Yep. So you attempted, Viviane, to
Right.
get someone interested in your garden, but
Yeah.
Joe was not.
I mean, as they keep walking and she keeps collecting more flowers, eventually she like has a small little bouquet of like specifically picked out like colors and patterns and everything. And she just kind of stops and waits for Joe to like realize that she has stopped and look up from her book.
Okay, I mean, eventually it happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually.
Right. I mean,
you could always just do the deaf thing, right, and tap you on the shoulder.
Right. Yeah, she probably does that. She just holds out the little bouquet, and do you take it? I'm assuming.
I mean, she like looks at it, and I don't know if she knows it's for her. Like, I mean, if you just like bring it out to her,
yeah,
she just says, "Thank you,"
and she just says like, "Thank you for all you've taught me."
You're welcome. I want to teach her some more stuff. I'm like, speaking of which,
yeah, I mean that's your instinct. Yep.
Speaking of which, let's get back on track and teach you more things.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Can I roll instruction?
Yeah, you can. Of course you can.
Okay, cool. Because I want to continue to preserve the ancient language.
Yeah.
So can I fork in ancient language?
Yeah, let me double check how this works with instruction.
Okay.
So the instruction of 5. And you have what do you have for in ancient languages, Viviane? 4?
Yes.
Yeah, so you still have a ways to go before you're on par with her skill in it. Let's see, instruction. Learning from another. Oh, this is a different section. Ugh. Learning from another. Advancing abilities. Okay. So the basically it depends on what kind of test you're trying to give her for purposes of like advancement. So right now Viviane doesn't have any tests on ancient language, but she needs to advance to 5, 4 routine, 2 difficult, and 1 challenging. Which one of those do you want to attempt to give her?
Oh boy. Okay. Say those options again.
Routine. So she needs to advance it 4 routine, 2 difficult, and 1 challenging. Which one of those type of tests do you want to try to give her?
A difficult?
Yeah, difficult. That makes sense. So the base ob for giving someone a difficult test in something is 2, and then let's see. This is, I think ancient language is an academic skill. Yeah. Let's look.
I think so. She said that.
Yep, academic. So let's see if there's any. Okay. Yeah, so no extra ob penalty for academic skills. Keep it higher than the instructor skill in the area. Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's just an ob 2 test with your instruction. Though I don't think you can actually fork anything into this. I don't believe that is the case.
Fork in foreign language?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna double check the entry here, because usually it
symbology.
It looks like the common forks for instruction is command and persuasion, so it has more to do with like how you're teaching than what you're teaching with forks.
Okay, but I get to, because I'm driven, I get to re-roll it if it's bad, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You can re-roll any failed dice. Oh, hey, Carly, I forgot. You have a call-on trait for flower-wise.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's moved past that point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, for future reference, you can re-roll failed dice in a flower-wise test once per session.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, so no modifiers.
Yep, just instruction.
And it's going to be a base 2.
2, yep.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. Didn't even need
But can I re-roll any like failed ones?
I mean, you don't need to. It doesn't. I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, it just
okay.
happens.
I just succeed. Okay.
Okay, so the time for each instruction test is days equal to 10 minus the instructor's will plus 10 minus the student's will. What are your guys' wills? I think they're maybe 3 each for you.
Yeah, it's 3.
And Viviane, yours is 4. Okay. So that means, so it takes 13 days for her to get this test, but you're starting the process, and then it's assumed that throughout the next 13 days, you guys will be working on this test.
Oh, whoa.
Oh my gosh, that's so long.
I mean, yeah, it turns out it takes a long time to learn things.
Yeah, especially language.
but you.
This is going to take longer than teaching Darius how to read.
I was gonna say.
No, I don't think it will take longer than that.
False.
Not longer.
Because learning how to like read, I guess D&D has it more binary too.
250 days.
But also D&D is binary in the sense that once he has that 250 days, he just knows how to read instead of Burning Wheel, which is like you teach someone how to have read at 1 and then read at 2 and then read at 3, right?
Right.
You get better at it. But yeah, so instruction eats up all the character's free time. You may not practice other skills during that time. So we assume any free time that Viviane has in the next 13 days and Joe are spent teaching her the new stuff. Cool, awesome, yeah. So you can't mark a routine because you don't need routines on instruction. But yeah, you're continuing to teach Viviane.
So I don't
her
mark
stuff.
anything for instruction.
Nope, you don't, because it was too easy. This is just easy for you. But I think what happens is kind of in the middle of your practice session here, Viviane's mom comes into the garden.
Oh no!
Lady Giselle August, played by Rachel Weisz, and she kind of comes over into the garden here, and so your mom, again looks like that. But a couple of traits that you know about her: she's adorable and agreeable, but also weak-willed. So she's like you in a lot of ways. You guys have a lot in common, just in the sense that like you're very agreeable, easy to get along with, but maybe not the most assertive people. Your father is the exact opposite. So she comes out and she's wearing a nice like sundress or whatever, and she comes over and like taps you on the shoulder, Viviane, to get your attention, basically.
Yeah, she turns around.
Yeah, and I'm gonna double check because I think I might have given her some of the ancient language skill. I think she might. Yeah, she has a 3 in ancient languages. She's been learning it too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because she has.
Yeah, I mean, she's
mom cares about you a lot.
Exactly,
yeah, your mom loves you. And so yeah, she signs back and then says, and just assume she's signing as I say these things.
Right.
She says, "I'm so sorry about what happened the other day. That must have been horrible."
Yeah, she just it was scary.
Yeah. I had word. Well, your father told me that. Well, something changed about our situation last night. You know that Lord Bechard was your father's heir?
Oh, right. I forgot about that as a player.
And you probably did as a character too.
Right. She's like, yes, I remember now.
She nods and says, "Well, you remember that nice gentleman that you went out with last night at the opera?"
Like, yes.
Young Lord Frederick Claver. Well, it turns out, in a weird twist of fate, he is now your father's heir to the title and the estate. Now, your father and I agreed that we wouldn't try to force you into any sort of marriage with Lord Bechard, given his peculiar reputation, but we do think an opportunity has we do think an opportunity has arisen here. You see, if you did marry Lord Claver, you would also, along with him, inherit the estate and the title. You would be a part of your father's legacy. And he very much wants that for you. You have to understand, he does love you so very much.
She's like, I understand.
I
She's
don't.
like,
Do you say that, Joe?
Yeah, she's like, oh, she's trying so hard because this is her employer here.
right.
But I mean, she's strong-willed. Maybe I don't know. I think
she's probably known the family long enough that she's like
not too afraid to speak her mind.
Right.
And also, to do it against Lady Giselle August, that's who you would do it to, because she wouldn't put up a fight and she wouldn't get offended super hard if you said anything. You know how to tread on eggshells around her father, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's like, I don't.
Lady Boulay, you must understand this is a family matter.
She wants love, not this.
Whoa.
Some of the happiest marriages that
You know that.
Some of the happiest marriages that I've known came from arranged marriages. It can develop over time, and I know that young Kleber has
You're
a
happy?
untarnished reputation.
Are you happy?
That's a loaded question.
I mean, was their marriage arranged?
Yes.
I think I just made it so.
No, I totally admitted that. So I think she hesitates for just a moment and then smiles and says, "Yes, of course."
Oh, she's a lion. I'm calling her out. Every instinct in me.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, let me roll a falsehood for her then.
Okay, just curious. Are you speaking this or are you signing all of this?
Oh, I'm signing it, so you understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think she's gotten into the habit of signing it too. So you don't have to roll anything, Joe. It's just she doesn't have the skill falsehood. She's very bad at it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it to her being learned.
I'm just saying because my instinct is to always call out a liar. So
right.
And what is your will? 3?
3.
All right, she could succeed on this.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a good will. Nope.
Nope.
That was close.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I think it was just that moment of hesitation. If she hadn't hesitated for just that half a second, you would have believed her. But
just like with Tapuma last week.
So she's just like, you're lying, and now you're forcing your daughter to do the same.
You see her start to like tear up a little bit.
I mean, Viviane would. I mean, I don't know. What's the sign for force? I actually don't know that.
Or
okay,
force. Sorry.
Okay,
force.
right.
You're pressuring or forcing. It's the
yeah,
same thing,
yeah. I mean, she'd say like, she's not forcing. Like she said that. Like it's not something I have to do.
So she looks at you and she kind of like,
oh great.
Well, that's the thing, darling. Your father is insisting.
Gosh. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, she just says like, you didn't make it sound like that.
I'm sorry. I was trying to ease into it slowly. I felt that if you were already maybe not opposed to the idea, then I could have. You understand, though, Viviane? Yes? This is
Joe
important.
just looks at her, just looks at Viviane and goes, like,
okay.
I want to make a persuasion check to persuade her to stand up for herself.
Oh.
Something.
So what are you trying to do exactly? What did you say there? Right? What did you sign?
Support yourself, meaning stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was an expletive.
No.
Because you would understand, Alyssa, because in Friends that means.
Oh no, that's different. It
was close though, so that's what it reminded me of.
Sign language, like hand positions, are very important.
Right, palm orientation.
It just reminded me of that. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm trying to think. So your intent is to, with that statement, encourage Viviane to like stand up for herself and say no, like say like I don't want this.
Yes.
Let's see what skill that is. Like, what are you doing there?
I mean, it sounds like persuasion to me.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's persuasion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
what's my obs?
Her will, which is 4.
Okay, so there's no way I can beat this then.
Yep. But you're learning it.
Can you
one
fork in
failure at a
anything
time.
else?
No, it's being learned.
I mean, like, would it help her at all that I'm like pretty close to feeling like I'm gonna stand up to my mom?
Sure, I'll give her an advantage die for the situation.
So that means that I can maybe succeed. I could. Oh, I can't.
No, because it's doubled.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean,
but
okay.
Hey, you still have to make the roll. So.
Oh, dang it.
I gave you the ob, yeah. So.
I know. Okay, so I get a +1.
And then ob 4, which will automatically double.
4. I thought her will was a 3.
Her will is a 4. Your will is a 3.
Oh.
All right, you can mark that difficult on your will. Let's see, do you need a difficult on your will? You do, and you need one more, and then you'll have upgraded your will.
Woohoo!
Nice. Just keep failing a persuasion test. So Viviane, this is the thing. So Joe says this, and what comes to your mind is like, no, I can't. Like, if I refuse this, like, my father would flip. Like, you realize when Joe says this that she is the only person who would say this. She is the only person who would tell you to do this, and that is not enough, unfortunately.
Okay.
I guess what we should have probably done beforehand is like said, like, where is Viviane, and like, would this persuasion test make or break it? But I guess that's kind of the assumption that we made.
Right.
And you don't have to say yes still, but it might be like you might just not stand up for yourself here.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the original thing I was gonna say is just like she says to her mom, like, "Mother, he made no effort to communicate with me without Joe. Like, why would that make a good marriage?"
Yeah. So,
but like, she doesn't say it with very much
actually?
confidence.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So just you very weakly like, what about this, Mom? And I think she says, "My darling, it takes everyone a while to be able to work up the comfort to try to communicate with you." And that's probably a really like kind of offending way of saying it, but that's what she says, right? Like, it's like basically what she said is people make you uncomfortable. That's why this is happening. Like, you have to get over it. Like, young noble ladies are supposed to have charming conversations, right? Like, that's. And so she's saying, like, if this guy is like, this is all subtext, but she's like, looks at you and she's like, if this guy is already showing interest in you, you have to jump on this, because if not, you will never get married.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Wow.
Need to get married.
Oh my
She's
God.
fine.
And again, like, this is like
strong, independent
Viviane
woman.
capitulating
She
in the
wants to,
moment, right? Yeah.
Gosh.
Viviane can always change her mind in the future, but like, yeah.
Right. I mean, she definitely doesn't say yes here, but she obviously doesn't say no because she's afraid of her dad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, she just says, like, I don't want to talk about this right now.
She nods slowly and says, "Well, don't think about it too long, sweetheart. Otherwise, your father will want to talk to you." And then she like does the like, you know, kiss on the cheek sort of a thing, right? That you would do with close friends and family, and then leaves. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's the end of that
Joe's
scene.
just shaking her head like,
Yeah.
you don't need to get married. Look at me, I'm fine.
I mean, like, I think Viviane, like, she starts crying a little bit, but then she's like,
Oh,
nah,
okay,
like,
well then she would comfort you.
Yeah, so maybe Joe's like shaking her head like, and then you like look over and you see Viviane like tearing up a little bit, and you're just like, "Oh, honey, oh no." Hug.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's where we end the scene there. Marco or Marguerite, do you have a thing you want to pursue in the morning or afternoon?
I wanted to look for a possible culprit.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like just go around to try and like talk to the servants, like the workers here, and kind of get an idea of who was working that station that particular time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's see. What's a good skill for that?
Intimidation.
Yeah, I guess it would depend on how you're approaching it, right?
I was thinking like
okay.
persuasion.
So I guess the question is, do you go to Bertrand and say like, round up all the servants, I'm going to talk to them, or do you just like go around as the servants are working and like talk to them individually?
I probably do the latter.
Mm-hmm.
just because I'm trying to be a little more. I know that'll probably be a little. People will be a little more open to it if I do it that way.
Yeah.
And I'm fully aware of the fact that it probably wasn't someone who. It may not have even been someone who was working here.
Right.
So he's just trying to get an idea of what was happening. So I was thinking maybe, persuasion forking into intimidation, maybe. And inconspicuous.
Are you attempting to? So, tell me. So what you're doing again? You're just going around to each of the servants.
Going around to the servants, trying to talk to them, kind of talk to them, and kind of. Because I'm going to be there for a while, so I'm like, I might as well get to know the people, figure out who it is, figure out who is working there.
Yeah.
Just kind of talk to them, make them realize what exactly I'm here for. But at the same time, make them feel like I don't know. I'm also trying to get intimidation if I'm trying to fork into intimidation, maybe make them realize like I'm here to find this, like you need to help.
Yeah. So are you primarily intimidating or primarily persuading?
I figure primarily persuading and forking into intimidation. I don't know if I could actually get inconspicuous and intimidation at the same time.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
And maybe what I'll do is, could I fork into an inconspicuous? Because I don't think. Well, I don't. It doesn't matter which one. I don't think necessarily.
Well, it will change your approach, right? Forking into intimidation.
Yeah, it'll only change my approach. It won't actually change the role.
No, right? Yeah. So if you're forking into inconspicuous, then you're going around and just like pretending like you're maybe even one of the servants. Like you're just being very innocuous and just trying to like talk to people as if you were one of them. I think that makes sense. Yeah. That seems like a thing you'd be good
trying
at.
to get an idea of who exactly was working stations and what happened.
Yeah. I think you could even fork in murder-wise, because like
that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, you've run cases like this before. You know about the types of things people would say to incriminate themselves. So yeah. So persuasion with 2 modifiers. And I think ob 4.
I was hoping for a low one.
Yeah. Well, it's based on the will, like the common will exponent, and that would be normally 3, but I think there's an added difficulty of like there's so many people you're going through, and a lot of it's a stroke of luck to find the right person. So, yeah.
Well, here goes nothing. I actually made it,
nice.
Just barely.
Okay, well, it's a routine, so you can't mark anything for it, but
why can't I? Oh, because there's
6 doesn't need routines to advance.
Oh, I was gonna ask earlier. I rolled a link check or something on MurderWise earlier. That was routine. Should I have checked a routine on MurderWise for that?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't, and I thought.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yep. Basically, just assume if look at the type of test that says underneath the name of the skill, and then mark that test on your thing.
I was pretty sure. I thought you had said when I did it, I didn't mark it, so I was confused when
got it.
Emily marked one.
But obviously, if there's no if it says 0 next to the type of test, then you don't need those. So.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
Cool. Yeah. So we see a montage of Marco like going around. So what kind of clothes are you wearing? Like, are you legitimately like wearing servant clothes?
I probably didn't change my clothes.
Right. So you're just still wearing like the utilitarian but nice clothes that you had before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think what happens is, the only thing you come up with. So, the people say, right, like, Lord Maxence Bechard, he brought the bread and wine himself. Like, he never let anyone else like touch his stuff. Mostly, like he had a particular place where he kept it because it was like religious to him, right? And so he had a particular like place where he kept this stuff, and he didn't like necessarily have a servant bring it to him. He brought it up himself to the box.
But it was somewhere in the theater.
Yes, before he had it. So it's definitely possible someone poisoned it before he got there. But no, there's not a particular servant to like point out like, oh, you were the one who brought him the bread. Not the case. So that's true. You also the really the only thing that like stands out as being weird is one of the servants was fired last night, or like left last night, and then it was after the fact like. Your uncle was like, well, I guess he's fired because he just like disappeared. That's really the only weird thing that comes up. Everyone else is like, oh man, like he died, but like they don't say anything that like clues you in on them having been there. There was a couple of servants nearby, but nothing they said like really kind of stands out to you, and he didn't seem to like leave the bread and wine sitting there for a while, at least in the box. So yeah, that's the one thing that like for sure stands out to you is like the servant just like left last night.
Well, I know who I'm roughing up then.
Yeah, you want to try to find him?
Yeah. Can I okay. Give me a second. Can I add relationships like can I make a circle now with these people or something like that, or is that a thing?
You can make a circles test right now to make an informant of one of the servants.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you could do if you want to like have a friend here.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And could I fork in can I fork in all?
You can't fork in skills to circles. The only thing you can add is reputations and affiliations, most likely, but you don't have any of those.
Oh, but so I can't. So this is an attribute. It's an attribute.
It's an
so
attribute.
I still can't fork in attributes. Okay.
No. Sure. Yeah, you can't fork in other attributes.
Okay.
Let's.
So
yeah,
could I get any modifiers given? Anything?
Yeah, I think you get one one advantage die because your persuasion test was successful. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But so you're trying to find someone with so this is a person with the servant life path, but it's, let's see, what life paths do you have? Cityborn, student advocate, thug. So you have like city stuff and then outcast. Yeah, so you're just trying to find a fellow city dweller. That's the like point of contact here. So I think it's gonna be an ob 3.
This might be difficult.
Yeah, this is all a lot easier when you guys have Artha.
I don't know what Artha is yet.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end.
Okay, so no.
Yeah, so
do I mark it difficult though?
Yep, you can mark it difficult for circles. So basically, you don't find anyone who's particularly helpful or like friendly to you. Like they're not necessarily hostile, but like, yeah.
I'm new. They don't know who I am.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So the guy who left, his name is Ferrant Hawet.
Could you put that in the?
I did.
Right there.
Yeah, Mr. Ferrant, and yeah, he left last night, and you could probably find. I think you found out like where he lives, from the servants, so you could go there and try to like see if he's there.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So you get to that particular section of the city, and you find like a kind of like a ramshackle house in one of the lower districts. Just go knock. There's like a dog outside, starts barking at you.
Could I roll on street smart to get an idea of what I can expect in this area?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can go
streetwise. I don't think there's anything I could fork. Could I fork into inconspicuous?
Depends on what you're trying to do.
Just kind of get an idea of what's going on, like what the area is like.
The
at the same
district
time,
like, yeah.
What's the district like? But at the same time, not drawing attention to myself.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's say an ob 3 test, and you can fork an inconspicuous.
So 1 modifier.
Yep.
Ooh.
Whoa. A
Just
success.
Yeah, sure. Yep. So I think this is one of the lower districts, not the slums exactly, but like the next step up from the slums. So like, yeah, servants, laborers, those sorts of people live in this little bit of a residential block. And like, yeah, you would expect like criminal activity probably and stuff like that, but not quite as bad as you would in like the lower, like kind of slummier parts of the city. The main thing that you can expect here is downtrodden people who are poor.
Okay, so my kind of people.
Exactly.
Okay, so I go to the house of Farron Tout, knock on the door.
Okay, yeah. So the dog is like barking at you, and like I think like tries to like take a couple nips at you. What do you do? Like not really like attacking you, but it's just like get away. You just ignore it.
Probably, I'm probably used to it.
Yeah.
It's like just a dumb dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably hungry.
Mm-hmm. And I think you hear a little like bit of a rustling, and then
Actually, I have an idea.
Okay.
But would you guys get mad at me if I killed the dog? Because I was gonna say
it would
I
show
probably
as a part of your character.
well, I was gonna say I probably brought some of the I probably brought the bread with me.
Oh gosh.
You just give him the wolf thing.
A piece of the evidence.
No, I
my
probably
gosh.
think about like the problem I'm gonna do is like it's probably hungry. Wait, no.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
that's
not gonna
actually-
kill
That's
him.
actually kind of an awesome idea that you just like pull a piece of the bread out and you're just like, oh, I'll give it to the. Oh no, wait. That's awesome. That's funny.
It's like I could get rid of this problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I don't mess with the dog. I just ignore it.
Okay, yeah. So a 9-year-old boy, kind of like sandy haired, wearing like just a kind of like dirty smock, opens the door like kind of slightly and it says, "Who are you?"
I'm here from the theater. Is your daddy here? Farron?
Yeah, he's here. What do you want?
Can I talk to him?
He stares at you for a moment and then closes the door. And then you hear the patter of feet. And then you hear a muffled, like, "There's who's here?" And then some footsteps. And then a kind of spindly guy, little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, black hair, kind of opens the door. And he looks like hasn't had a lot of sleep. He opens the door and says, "What do you want?"
Okay, I want to do something. I want to hold up the bread and say, "What do you know about this?" and roll perception to see how he reacts.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, make
And
it.
could I fork in?
You can't fork into stats, but yeah.
Oh, I can't fork. I want to do that though. Any modifiers or anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think you're just rolling to see if you pick up any clues.
Caleb.
Odds?
What if he could fork into stats?
What do you mean?
You know, just what if he could?
You can't.
Anyway,
Okay.
what's my odds?
Let's just have it be routine. So graduated, just ob 1, and then it just determines how many successes you get will determine how much you learn.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you hold up the bread, and you see. I mean, you see a little bit of a widening of the eyes, but like not enough that it could be like, for sure, he's the one who did it. Like it's just like he obviously recognizes the significance. In some way.
So like when he said like, "What do you know about this?" Because he reacts like, "I can tell there's something."
Isn't that the bread that Lord Bechard used to eat in the box?
Yes, it is. Interesting your usage of "used to," but I guess that's pretty common knowledge right now.
What, are you trying to accuse me of something?
You're the only one who left suddenly yesterday.
What do you mean I left? I got fired.
I heard it was the opposite.
No, one of the servants came up to me and said that Bechard had fired me. Halfway through the performance.
Okay, something's definitely up because I heard the opposite. So I think he's gonna say, "What did he look like?"
I don't know. It was dark. He came into the box and I was there. I usually wait on Lord Bechard, and then he told me to leave. He told me I was fired. And I said, he's right there. Why can't he tell me himself? And of course, you don't answer back to a lord like that. So I left. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I needed that job.
Give me a second. I'm writing this down. So we heard that Fahrenhaus was fired after he left.
Yeah.
And now he's saying
he was fired before he left.
I'm gonna say I'll take the piece of bread, kind of like really. How about this? Come back with me to the theater. Tell me all you remember about what happened yesterday. Probably get you a job back.
I can't leave now. My son is here. Can you give me some time to find someone to look after him?
I mean, he could join us, I guess.
I'd really prefer if I'd just talk to my cousin. I'm sure you could watch him for a day or two.
That's fine.
I'll meet you there later this afternoon. I promise, Mr.
I probably won't call myself Inspector just because I don't have a point to make this time.
Yeah.
Tisby. Marco Tisby.
Mr. Tisby, I promise that I didn't have anything to do with it.
No,
I'm glad to help if I can get my job back.
Can definitely do that. So I'll kind of tip my head and walk off.
Okay, do you want to do something for me, Marco? Want to make an observation test for me? There's something you can miss.
Ooh. And it's being learned, so I don't have anything to add to it. Any modifiers based on my earlier perception?
Oops. All the way around. Sorry. I don't think so, no. It doesn't have anything to do with that.
What's my obs?
Your ob is 3. Well, your ob is... Yeah, your ob is 3, and then it will double.
Then this isn't going to go very well. Yeah.
Yeah. So you missed something. You walk away.
What?
You miss something, and you walk away.
He's going to die, isn't he? He's going to die.
We'll find out, will we? Margeurite, what are you up to?
Nothing, because I need to go to bed really soon. So,
Want to just wrap it up?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine with me. Okie dokie. I just didn't want to leave you without a scene at the end here. So, but
nah,
sounds good to me. All right, let's go ahead and leave it there. And I think the last thing we see is as Marco walks away, he walks around the corner, and then we see a man in a cloak come up to the door and knock on it. And that's the last.
Dang it!
Yep.
Dang it!
I'm having fun with this murder mystery. There's lots of fun stuff.
Dang it, Caleb, killing my one guy. I should have brought him in. I should have just brought him.
Mm-hmm, you really should have.
I didn't know.
But Marco seems like a nice guy sometimes. So
he knows what it's like to have a family.
Exactly. We'll beat that out of you. Don't worry. Alrighty.
Oh.
Well, at least now I'll have 2 murders to go off of.
Yeah. All right, Marco, let's go through your beliefs, instincts, and traits and see if you got any Artha.
Okay.
And also something you can keep in mind now that we have a better idea of the situation. Feel free to write in actions for those beliefs as like second step, as like a definitive step to accomplish with those things too. So,
and I think the only thing I just realized, like, my one belief is people are inherently not trustworthy. But given the fact that he gave the very opposite thing of what I said, I'm like, wait a second, like, I think that's the reason, like, he probably didn't doubt him, just because it was so different than what he said.
Yeah. That's
okay.
fine.
So yeah, my beliefs are: I can find the killer. I will find justice. I did.
You're working on that.
Yep. So what's
so you get a fate.
I can find a better life. I will bring my family out of poverty. My accent was everywhere tonight. So yeah, I was was I working on that then? So
I mean, your like in parentheses thing was like, I will find extra work, and I think you did. You found extra work, right? So I think you get a persona.
Oh, okay.
Because you accomplished a thing, right? And you made rolls towards that, right? You were like, I'm proving myself as like a capable person who knows what I'm doing, and then your uncle's like, hey, how about you do this for me?
And then the people are inherently not trustworthy. I did that once tonight.
Yeah. Let's see. So normally for beliefs, it's if you worked towards them or if the having them complicated the story or brought in an interesting direction. And I think I'll give you a fate for that because you acted like you did towards Joe, which caused some interesting tension, and that might come back later. So I'll give you a fate for that too. Instincts.
None of them happened.
It's true.
None of them became relevant.
Yep.
If I had noticed that person, it would have been very relevant. But there was no way for me to make that.
Yeah.
All
right.
Literally impossible.
Look at your traits real quick. See if there's anything. And traits can give you fate if they get you into trouble or complicate the story somehow.
The die traits kind of came up.
Right, that's what I was saying.
Dead guy falling on me.
Yeah, I think I'll give you one, like for jaded or cold-blooded, one of those.
Where do I put that?
You don't have to put that anywhere. So really, those are just the marker things are just to mark for yourself briefly, so you can put them somewhere else.
Okay.
So basically, you earn 3 fate and 1 persona, and so what you're gonna do is go into stats and skills. Yep, and put those in the little bubbles next to Arthur there. 3 fate and 1 persona. And we'll go through next time what those do. But suffice to say, having a persona is very good for you, which means you cannot die unless you want to.
Ooh, that's fun.
Having at least 1 persona, you can save yourself.
I can jump off a cliff and survive.
Yes, technically, yeah. Marguerite.
I tried to impress my instructors.
You tried, fate. Yeah.
Definitely failed.
Yep.
But I tried. And then I added men are weak and easily swayed. I will use one to find out what happened to Lord Bechard. But
Bechard, yeah.
You
worked on it.
Tried.
Yeah.
I did not. Yeah. And then I don't think I really.
I'm gonna give you a fate for I always try to flirt my way out of problems because you like went up to Bertrand Crozier like
and
hey,
it completely failed.
Yeah.
Immediately. Okay, so I get 3 fate then.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if any of your traits came into play. Yep. Okay, cool. Josephine Boulet.
I'm a strong, independent woman who don't need a man, but I didn't even meet.
Yeah, we'll get to that next time for sure. There'll be a thing there.
So, I did continue to teach Viviane.
Yep. So you can mark a fate towards that. What will happen is once you help her advance her ancient languages to the next step, then you'll get a persona for that belief.
Okay.
So
I did not acquire a new book. Learning is
yeah.
Nobody showed romantic interest in me. Nobody asked me about sign language, and I did call out a liar.
Yeah, so you get 2 fate, I think, in total. I don't know if any of the other stuff came into play. So
you taught sign language.
Yeah,
right, but it didn't complicate the story.
I didn't specifically ask.
Okay.
Like the nature of me being her student.
Yeah, so you get 2 fate, I think. Cool. And then Viviane.
Okay. I believe someone can love me. I will find them and return the favor. And this, I don't think I really worked toward. I could maybe make an argument to say that I did because
you made rolls.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know if this would work to put with this belief, but the next thing she would try to do is either get out of the arranged marriage so that she could eventually be with someone that she actually cared about, or like discover if he actually cares about her.
Right.
Because she's not the kind of person that's just like,
so
no, I've met him once and I already hate him.
Yeah, so you're gonna rewrite that second part to be like find I feel like discover if he really cares for me or not is a good first step, right? Okay. And then once you find out if he does, then you can try to get out of the arranged marriage or not, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of wording that. So you can get a fate for that, and then
okay, what do I mark for that? Just the F?
Yeah.
box.
And this is just to keep in mind real quick as we mark these, and then you'll go
Okay.
into the different place and mark them elsewhere. So I know you gave her flowers. I know you gave Jo flowers, but you didn't roll anything
Right.
to like show her kindness. So it'll have to be something more substantial than you did. But we know you're trying, but you didn't make a roll, so you can't get fate.
Yeah.
And you did very much try to get Jo. Appreciate your garden, but you failed. So you can mark a fate for that. Let's see. Don't think your instincts came into play, or your. Well, I'll give.
I mean,
you...
I tried to be respectful when he said that he would want to call
Yes,
upon
but
me.
I don't know if that itself led to any interesting, like, complications. The only thing that really led to a complication in that scene was the failure to do the etiquette roll, which is you're trying to go the opposite, or you were trying to go into your belief and, well, you know what? Okay, I will give you a fate for it because that was what the etiquette was, right? It was trying to be kind even in the face of disrespect, and it backfired on you. So that makes sense. Okay.
We haven't seen how he reacts to that quite yet.
True. Don't worry, I have a good old Friedrich Claver in mind for so many different things in the future. I loved your face, Emily, when I said he has an untarnished reputation.
One of the things for if she has to try to get out of the arranged marriage is going to be trying to find something about him that makes him have to forfeit the inheritance.
So that knowing that he has an illegitimate child doesn't necessarily immediately forfeit the inheritance,
right? But it makes him less credible
unless you have someone make a rule of law test to make it so, right? Maybe there is a law that says if you have an illegitimate child, you forfeit any inheritance rights. Right. Like that could be an actual law.
Guess who has rule of law?
Marco does.
Oh gosh.
I have a 4 on it too.
So you got 3 fates. Okay, now real quick, the last thing is there are some other fate and persona awards that you can get through the course of a session. We'll check those real quick and see if anyone got them. Let's see. Humor. A fate point is earned if a player can stop the table dead with humor while in character. Did anyone do that this session?
I don't think so. At least I didn't.
Can't think of anything.
Yeah, if you can't think of anything, then probably didn't come
I mean, the
up.
only thing I think of marginally like that was the dead guy falling on me. But that was just funny that it happened. I didn't
Caleb,
do it.
you get a fate point.
Well, so also a thing to point out here is technically we can also nominate NPCs to get these awards too. So that's something to keep in mind. So if I have a funny NPC that ever does that,
gets a fate point.
Yeah, the dead guy gets a fate point.
Okay, sounds good. He will use that fate point in the afterlife. Okay, so then there's right.
He'll use it with Miggy.
Yeah. Right skill, right time. Lastly, if a character has if a character has the right Tara, quiet. If a character has the right skill when no one else does to keep the story moving, he should be awarded with a fate
I
point.
wonder who did that today.
Well, I don't know if I don't. Oh yeah, it's Viviane, of course.
Yeah,
with flower
the
ones.
herbalism.
Because we were all like,
that's a
is it
perfect
poisoned?
example.
I don't know. And she was like, yep.
That's a perfect example. Yeah, so you can get another fate point, Viviane.
Cool.
And then we have so it's give me 1 second. I want to tell my dog off. He's pouting. In the stats and skills section.
I'm so excited to see Emily.
Okay.
In the stats and skills, that's what Tara's saying, yeah. In the stats and skills page, there's Artha in between attributes and skills. Some bubbles in the middle there. Say fate, persona, and deeds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you have however many fate you've earned up to this point.
Okay.
Which I think is 4.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some persona awards. Embodiment. When a player captures the mood of the table perfectly and further drives the story onward, 1 persona point is awarded. Moments like great speeches, desperate decisions, or gruesome revenge fall into this category. This is a tough reward to get, as a player really must go above and beyond in his role playing. Do we have any particular moment stand out? Yeah, I mean, that's something probably usually has to be worked up to.
I mean, we were just still getting into the characters and knowing who they are.
Yeah, I don't think anybody got Mold Breaker either, which is if a player comes to a point in the story where his beliefs, instincts, and traits conflict with a decision he must make, a direction at which he must go, and he plays out the inner turmoil, the conflict within his own guts in a believable and engaging manner, then he earns a persona point. But those are things to look out for in the future. So if you want to get a persona point, you can metagame this and be like, I want to make a great speech and be really dramatic in this one moment. And yeah, that could be a thing.
Toity would have gotten a lot of those at times.
Cool. That is it. And again, we'll go through the specifics of Artha at the beginning of next session, because they will come up now. But you can use them to actually succeed on roles that you wouldn't otherwise. But I like the way that we did it tonight, because we kind of introduced the mechanics slowly and then got into some really cool scenes. I really liked the way it went. The kind of opening bits went basically as exactly as I planned, so it was pretty cool. And there's some fun mysteries to solve and like drama to be had. So awesome. All right, I think that's it. This has been Lavender Shadows. Thank you for watching, and thank you, my lovely players, for playing. So very excited to begin this journey into the Burning Wheel with you all. Adios. We're out.